The 49ers safeties were awful last season. They're trying to fix it this year. Raheem Morris is here, and now Ashtyn Davis is here. So, not to go Star Wars on you, but help us, Ashtyn Davis. You're our only hope. We'll break down the film on today's Gold Standard podcast presented by Prize Picks. What is good, everybody? Welcome to another Gold Standard podcast. I'm Rob Stats Guerrera. That man is Johnny Dell of the Johnny Dell Football Academy YouTube channel. Johnny, some people say that we glaze the 49ers on this show. I have a feeling we will not be accused of that today as we look at Ashtyn Davis.
That's correct. I'm seeing some things put out there, and I wonder, because people talking about, is Ashtyn Davis going to be somebody who's brought in to compete for a starting job? That they immediately went out and signed him after seeing their safeties in OTAs. And I will say, if that's the truth, then our safeties are in even a worse spot than I thought coming in. I will just say, like, Ashtyn Davis, it wasn't all bad, but I went back and watched his 2025 season. And well, we'll look at a bunch of it. There was a lot that we won't look at just because it wasn't exciting to see or show much. It's just there's a player there that I'm going, okay, if this is a guy that was brought in to be a veteran depth with starting experience that can play special teams, okay, I'm okay with that for the price tag. If this was a guy that was brought in to push our safeties, I'm not sure how much pushing he's going to be able to do. It'd be kind of like your sick uncle when you're broke down on the side of the road, who you're saying, okay, we need to push this car up the hill, and you see him back there with one finger on it, not really doing much pushing. That is Ashtyn Davis. I think would be pushing our safeties.
Dante Whitner is a guy I know that has said he thinks Davis could end up as a starter. I believe Matt Barrows said he thinks it could be Marquise Siegel and Ashtyn Davis. So it is definitely something that is floating around the 49ers sphere. I will point out, just to let everybody know where we are in terms of the safeties, Jason Pinnock, Malik Mustafa, Jair Brown all had a missed tackle rate of at least 15.8%. So there is work to be done, let's just say, in the safety room. You've been watching Ashtyn Davis, Johnny. What are some of your takeaways here?
Well, my first takeaway is hearing that stat that that missed tackle rate probably won't change or go down. um, uh, so I saw somebody who wasn't a really fast trigger against the run. I saw somebody who wasn't extremely decisive in the pass game. Somebody who just looked like the game is running a tick fast for him, is just what it looks like. And somebody who isn't a really aggressive hitter at safety. This is not going to be your guy you bring in to set a tone. This is a bit of a weird signing to me, because watching it just doesn't feel like 49ers culture on defense. So maybe this is a Raheem Morris pick, signing. Here he is. Now we're going to start out with some of the good. It's not all bad. There is some good in here. So they're playing against the Bills. This was early on. The Dolphins really took the Bills down to the wire, and they're trying to hide their coverage against Josh Allen. And so they're going to end up being in man coverage. He's going to be in man coverage on the tight end. And so they're trying to hide it. He's going to come down late, and then they're going to run. The Bills are a little switch release here, try and create traffic on an out and up for their tight end in the red zone. So you can see him kind of sniffing around there. He's trying to hide it. Oh, he gets a little caught there. Oh, tips it a little early. But I like this. He's going to work over the interference. They're going to hand this off, linebacker to the back. He picks up the tight end on the out and up, and it's really nice coverage. He's in there, great, playing the ball through the hands, contesting the catch point. It's usually eyes to the hands and to the shoulders. Once you get out of phase like this of reading the receiver, and he does a good job there, gets in there and breaks up the pass. You can see the Bills fan having a conniption over and distraught over the missed opportunity. Here he is going to be on the top, and I like his pursuit here. They're gonna have a little swing pass out here, and he does a good job getting an open field tackle, tacks the far hip, gets the guy on the ground. I like that. Here he is inside. This is the Chargers are trying to run the clock out near the end of the game and play him down here in the box. He's going to mix it in on against the run and get in there and make a stop. So okay, we're looking decent so far. You see him from the end zone. There he is, 21. I like how he fires in here at his gap. So there it is, attack, take on your blocker and go make the tackle when you know it's a must run situation. Here, they're going to bring one safety down after the motion. He's going to back out. The Browns are going to try and run a little play action, what we do with this corner route. And so he's got to identify the play action, then pick up this corner route. And he does a really nice job. I like this. Okay. Read the play action and then immediately get out here and take this route away. So, that's where they want to go with the ball. Dylan Gabriel, he wants to go there. It's taken away. They're going to do a good job on the second level. And then, Dylan Gabriel is going to go try and make something with his legs. But you like that from the safety. Okay. You're recognizing it. You're picking it up. You're getting to your landmark where you should be. Here, he's the safety out here. They're going to try and get a numbers game with a wide receiver screen. They're going to come block it out here and try and get a receiver one-on-one with him. So he's the safety on that side. Can you go make this play? They don't get a great block, but nice open field tackle. I like that. You can see the teammates are on board with it. Here he is as a deep safety. You can see him, watch him read the quarterback's eyes on this one. He's going to see the quarterback shading that way, break on the ball, get out here, and makes a diving interception. Now it's called back because they called defensive holding on the corner. But he should have had 2 interceptions on the year. You're going to see him right here. This shows you film study. So they bring in a different formation. You can see him motioning this way. He's calling out this wildcat formation. He recognizes the film. He's going to say, they're coming this way. They're coming this way. They're coming this way. The whole way. He knows it's coming. You can see him creeping up towards the line. He knows what's about to happen. And so then he gets in here and makes the tackle at the goal line. So that tells me he's a player who can get in here with his film study. You can bring him on a blitz. He's going to come off the edge and make a tackle. Attacks the near hip. That's a good job. All right. Here he's a safety. This is going to be an interception. One interception on the year. They're hiding, trying to hide this coverage. They're showing man. And he's going to back out, and he's going to be deep safety out here as they rotate. Baker's going to make this throw. He's trying to throw to Emeka Egbuka. So this is a good job. Shows nice fluid hips. He's going to go to the middle of the field, read Baker's eyes, flip his hips, and then come attack this ball. Now this is also a horrible throw by that's a bad throw by Baker. I don't know where he thinks his receiver's going, because this ball ends up here. Because even if he's not there, that's nowhere close to a completion. But he I won't take anything away from you. You got an interception, closed out the game. This is tough duty, getting back here, retreating in the middle of the field, flip your hips, or turn and flip and then tack the ball. So there's some things I see. Okay, we're talking about a solid vet here. This is a guy that can come in and give you some reps if you need him to give you, right?
Okay. It's better than we got from the 49ers safeties in some instances last year. And at least it looks like he can communicate out there, which was a big problem for the Niners.
Yeah, that is one thing that stands out. He's a decent communicator on the back end. You could see a lot of that happening. Now, where do I say, okay, this is one that I think he's a depth piece. This is not a starter for me. He doesn't show enough burst to the ball in tackling situations. Doesn't show enough thump here. Why is it clear enough? Okay, he's got to come out here and split this. They're going to try and get force. He's going to split this and have to make this tackle. This is for him to make the tackle. And it's not there, and you give up a touchdown. Those are the things that concern me. Here he is at the goal line. This is going to be against the Eagles, Saquon Barkley. He's got to read first. They're going to run this little quarterback option look. He's got to protect against option and then make a tackle on Saquon in the hole. And he just doesn't bring a lot of thump. He just gets run over. Now they end up not giving up a touchdown because the guy punches the ball out right at the goal line, kind of like Alfred Collins. But if that doesn't happen, that's a touchdown. And so we see already 2 touchdowns he's given up. That's not the right amount of touchdowns you should be giving up. So here he's going to ending up getting displaced by a wide receiver on this block. And it's not like this is a big wide receiver. This is Johan Dotson, who's 185 pounds and works him out of where he's supposed to be blocking. You need to be a lot tougher than that as a safety. No 185-pound wide receiver should be displacing you in the hole. You should be beating that guy out pretty good. Here he is. They're going to be in cover 2, so he's a deep half safety here. His corner does a good job as far as I think what they want, which is funnel this guy inside. Sometimes they want to redirect outside, but what they usually want is some sort of redirect. They don't want you just let that receiver go down the field, because that's when you put your safety in a really bad spot. The safeties have to understand what the scheme is on this. If this guy's getting redirected inside, then you're going to take this a little bit wider, because they're trying to give you leverage somewhere. They're trying to say, okay, you're not going to be head up trying to take a 2-way go. So he's got to understand what his corner's doing here and get out here to at least create some sort of leverage on this. You can see the redirect. They work him inside. He's got to get a little bit wider. He's got a mic down here that's going to take that away. If they run this as a pure crosser, he has a safety who can help. What you don't do is stay way far inside and you give up tons of room over here. And so he just gets beat bad on this corner route. Not there. You give him an explosive pass. Don't like giving up explosives. That's your job as a safety, is don't give up explosives. Here he is as a far safety. They're going to run this ball through here, and not a great tackle. He goes for the ball. I understand wanting to punch it out, but you got to make a tackle. You're a safety here. He's going to come down. Here it is. And you give up 15 yards after contact in the hole. Not a fan of that. This is him. Watch him come down. He tries to punch the ball out, and it's just a missed tackle. I understand trying to create plays, but you also got to get a guy on the ground right there. You can see him go for the full punch. That's bad. Like, if we saw Jair Brown doing that, we would be all over Jair Brown for that, and rightfully so. See, here he is, box safety. So he's here. He's on a tight end, Tommy Tremble. Tommy Tremble had 250 receiving yards last year. This is not exactly your receiving tight end. He's in man coverage, and just watch this on a little slant/looky route here. A little slant.
Got flat-footed.
Got absolutely flat-footed. I mean, if Bryce Young hits that throw, that's a 40-yard pass. Because he just cooks him. And again, Tommy Tremble is not like your big time. He's not a George Kittle out there, right? This is not exactly a world beater of a receiving tight end. So, I get a little concerned. I have some concerns here if he ends up getting there. They're going to run a little pin and pull here. So they're going to pin down, pull out here on a toss. He's got to fit this gap, and bad gap integrity. So once this receiver comes up, he's got to get inside here. You got a corner that's going to come down. These guys are going to work the outside. You got to fill inside. This is something the 49ers in 2023 got absolutely cooked with.
Yes.
Right? This exact play. So what does he do? He ends up engaging, and he lets this receiver pull him out of his gap. You see the corners coming in on the outside. That's the corner's job, to be outside. This is his lane. He's got to be in there. That's his lane. And they just run right through it because he's out there getting displaced by a receiver. And that is a massive run you are giving up. A massive run. The concerns I have is far too many explosive plays given up. Far too many, with missed tackles, bad assignment discipline, just getting worked out there. He isn't big and strong enough at the point of attack to me. Those are the concerns I have. And it shows up over and over again. He doesn't get really aggressive versus a lot of these runs. Here's another one. Got to make that tackle.
Literally,
you're giving
your position is called safety. You're the safety. You're the last line of defense.
Yeah. And I mean, these are the differences between a regular run and now it's an explosive run because you're talking a 14-yard run.
Mm-hmm.
Another explosive play. Far too many explosive plays given up. Far too many. Too many touchdowns given up. So when I say when it's like this guy could push for a starting spot, I go, I don't know if we've watched all the film. And I get it. Like it's a lot of time. It was a grind for me to get through this film because it was really difficult. But I'm just seeing far too many explosives here. This one, I will give him a little bit of a break because the pass rush is absolutely anemic on this play. But he does a good job initially. They're going to get Ladd McConkey on a crosser, and he does a good job initially. Okay, he's got eyes to this side to pick that up. So he's matching on this. This is a matching zone. And now you're going to get Justin Herbert's going to step up in the pocket, buy some time. Well, now you got a plaster. He's got a plaster to Ladd McConkey. And this is as bad of a job as you can do plastering.
Ooh, that's not great. He literally ran right past him to the front of the end zone and catches the ball from Herbert.
Yeah. And so, I mean, we're seeing another touchdown given up. We've seen explosive plays, and touchdowns given up. Again, I do say I give him a little bit of leeway because the pass rush was so poor. But still, if it was our safeties, we would be really mad.
One question that we've got in the chat from Leon Sandcastle. Good to see you again, Leon, by the way. Do you think Jerry Gray can get more out of him? And I think that's a common, not just Jerry Gray, but also Raheem Morris being his history in the secondary as well. How much of a boost do you think those guys can provide? Oh, that's
that is
long pause.
Well, it's a good question. I'm somebody who I guess I look at it and I think, sorry, my chair's hitting my mic stand over here. But I look at mentality first. Like I can deal with some deficiencies that can be coached up if you have a really strong mentality for playing a certain position. You're really aggressive. You can, like Malik Mustafa. I'm okay. Like, and I don't mean okay in that I'm settled with it. I'm more okay with some of his deficiencies because I feel like those can be coached up. Sometimes it's getting your feet right before tackling. It's being in the right position in lining up on where you need to read your keys, break on the ball, footwork, like those kind of things I'm okay with because he's very aggressive in filling. He's got a quick trigger against the run a lot of times. He's got speed. He's got an aggressive mindset. When he comes to hit, he comes to hit. Okay. Those are things I can't coach up. Is how hard can you hit? How aggressive can you fill? How excited are you just to get in on a tackle? He doesn't show those traits. He showed, his things are he's got some speed, he's got some nice hips, he's got some decent feet. I'm not needing to coach that up. For me, it's just I don't see somebody who's an aggressive filling safety who's going to come hit guys. He seems out of position. He seems like the game is just a tick fast for him. And I just wonder, is like this somebody who's getting overwhelmed by it? And at this point where he's at in his career, I don't see those things improving dramatically. I just don't.
Yeah, that makes sense. It's weird because it's almost like the 49ers in a lot of their position rooms, I feel like they have guys that can do some of the job, but they don't have guys that can do all of the job. Like I think Mustafa and Siegel, clearly we saw they have an extreme willingness to hit, to throw their body in there. They're not hesitant about that, but they can't cover as well. Like the 49ers have a lot of those guys that can do that, right? Jake Tondras, great receiving tight end. He cannot block. Luke Farrell can't do anything, so that was a great signing. But it's almost like a lot of half players. It's frustrating. Yeah. It's like, how about we just find guys that can do all of the things that you need a position to do instead of just having people that can only fill one very specific role. And then if circumstances change and guys get injured, we don't really have the tools to be able to do the job.
Yeah, I mean, it's the age-old question. Do you want diversity of skill set or a specialty of skill set? And they've tended the last 3-4 years to hone in on specialty skill sets, role players, big time role players, instead of guys who could have the potential to do a lot of things, but have a lower floor. They've tended to be a higher floor team that picks lower ceiling guys because they pick role players. Here you're going to see him. This is just a bad rep. Slow in it. He bites out there. So, okay. So the Bills are running a play action here. He's going to be a little slow on it, and he bites really hard. So it's one of those things like if you're going to be slow, then don't bite. Like I'm okay with you being a little bit slower against the run if you're at least not biting and you're there against the pass. When you're slow and then you bite really hard, now you've made it's a double whammy and you're really out of position. So here you see it a little slow, drum flies right down. Okay, they're bringing a crosser. You're in position here, but then and you give up the crosser. I go, okay. That's not great. That's you really got put in a bad spot here. So here he is against the Wildcat against the Browns again. They're going to run this little read option in here again, just a tick slow on reading that this guy doesn't have the ball, and then he's got to go meet the quarterback, the ball carrier, with force, and it doesn't happen. So you can see him coming out here. They're just going to run this right up through his gap. This is his gap, and then again he tries to punch the ball out, doesn't make a tackle, gives up a touchdown. Far too many touchdowns given up on the year. There he is. Just
they're doing those plays too, specifically to put that guy in a bind. I actually love those plays down by the goal line because all it takes is just that one fraction. You lean one way you're not supposed to. You hesitate for just that one bit. I feel like you can find cracks to get in and score. But look, it's not just an Ashtyn Davis problem. 49ers safeties have been targets. They were targets all year last year, all year, over and over and over again. Maybe it'll be a little better, but this is not the uplifting experience that I was hoping for, Johnny.
I'm sorry. Got to be honest, though. Here, they're going to have him try and help double Jamar Chase. And I don't know on this because you have one job here, right? You play inside coverage. You're inside leverage on him. You play anything inside. And he comes down. He's in here. Okay, now you're going to get bite on this little inside maneuver. You get flat-footed. And if it's a better throw, Jamar Chase is in the end zone. I get it. That's a big-time throw. Burrow's under duress, but he's still, even the ball behind you, you give up the big splash play and another explosive. Far too many explosives.
Why are his hips perpendicular to the line of scrimmage? Like, I feel like you put yourself in such a tough. How are you going to continue to run down the field if all of a sudden your hips are perpendicular to the line of scrimmage? Then you have to flip your hips and then continue running down the field against Jamar Chase, who this just in is not slow.
Yeah. Just poor technique. And again, I don't know if it was just really, really bad coaching there in Miami. I can't. I always struggle with that because I go, okay, he's probably making a lot more than his position coach. So I'm going to put it more on him that he be better than that. And so, in all of it, I think I just see, okay, he's got some good straight line speed. He's got decent straight line speed. He doesn't have really good short area burst, but good straight line speed. He can make some open field tackles when he's not trying to go for the ball. So that tells me special team skill set. And he did work with Brant Boyer before. And so I go, this feels like special teams player who can provide vet depth that is there. And so it's just a situation where if he's the guy pushing our safeties, I'm really worried about our safeties.
Rob Dart says, the title seems promising. The tape, not so much. Sorry to disappoint, Rob. There is one more question about Ashtyn Davis and all the safeties, really, that I want to ask you about. I'm going to do it in 1 second. But first, I want to remind everybody we are presented by Prize Picks. If you haven't checked it out, you really need to go and do it. It is America's #1 destination for daily fantasy lineups. It's super easy. You can pick a whole lineup full of players. You choose more or less on their projected stats. And if you get your picks right, you win money. It is that simple. If you pick more on a player and they hit it early in the game because you're a genius, guess what? You can cash out early and get your money before the game is even over. Plus, they have team picks. They have futures, anything you could possibly want inside the world of sports. With Major League Baseball right now in full swing as we were actually headed towards the trade deadline, which for some reason is in August this year, which I feel like is really late, but whatever. So that is up there for you. Plenty of things inside the world of sports. Outside the world of sports, pretty much whatever you want. Movies, Netflix, politics. There's something for everyone. So go check out if Prize Picks is available in your state. Download the app and use our promo code HMA to get $50 in lineups after you play your first $5 lineup. That's promo code HMA. You see it on the screen to get $50 in lineups after you play your first $5 lineup. Prize Picks. It's good to be right. The other thing, Johnny, that I hear about the 49ers and their secondary is, well, the pass rush is going to be so much better this year that automatically the secondary will be better, which, to be fair to the 49ers safeties, the pass rush was horrendous last season. 20 sacks, just terrible. The secondary, or I should say the whole team really, had 6 interceptions, one of which came from D. Winters, who's not part of the secondary. How much do you think the pass rush being better will help the safeties and everybody in that part of the defense?
I mean, it should help him tremendously when you go from covering a 40-yard field to a 55, 60-yard field. That just makes everything so much harder. And when you allow a quarterback to get to his 4th and 5th reads, it's hard to cover to your 4th and 5th receivers. It just is. You be in your certain spots and everything. So, I mean, as the pass rush goes, so should everything go. And we've seen that in the past with the 49ers, right? Like when Bosa was held, the Chiefs end up getting big plays down the field. When he's not, I know I have to pour salt in the wound. I'm sorry. Too soon. But no, when we've seen a dynamic, creative pass rush with the 49ers and with their front, they look like they're incredibly difficult to pass on. And this has been through a litany of guys that haven't exactly been household names like Emmanuel Mosley, and different guys that haven't exactly gone and lit the world on fire after the 49ers. And they've been able to generate a lot of success with that. I think when you go to any team over the history, when they're a really good team against the pass, it's generally because they have a really good front. And so, they've invested a lot into that with trading for Osa Odigizua, with the first round pick of Michael Williams, and with the 3rd round pick of Romello Height. And they traded for Keon White. We have to remember that Keon White was brought in because he's a guy who can do what Michael Williams does, which is rush from the interior. Be somebody who can be a pass rusher there. I think we forget about Keon White's on the team. Now I get it. He was shot in the ankle with that whole thing. 49ers players, if they can just keep from getting shot, we'd probably be doing a lot better. But he's somebody who everybody's wondered, what are the 49ers going to do until Michael Williams comes back? I think Keon White's your answer. I think that's who they're looking at to be that exact same role. Base outside, run defender, slide inside, and rush the passer on passing downs. I think that's going to be the plan. So they have a lot of potential for that to happen. It has to actuate, because if it doesn't, then we are going to be sitting here 6 months from now going, the 49ers have to really invest in their secondary next year in the draft. They've got to get a new corner. They've got to get at least 1 new safety, probably 2 new safeties. So if that, as the pass rush goes, so will these things go. Plus, these guys have got to get better at communicating on the back end. Far too many busts in coverage last year. Far too many. And some of that was being a young secondary. Some of it was being a secondary that didn't get a lot of time in training camp together because everybody was injured during training camp. And they lost all those reps together during training camp. So they need to get a healthy training camp. They need to take as another step and grow. Malik Mustafa, I am excited for Malik Mustafa in the sense that I think this is the year we will really see who he is. Flash your rookie year, then had to rehab that ACL all offseason, which completely derails the development. Plus, you get a new scheme in there. Now you're getting a secondary focus guy. You've had an entire offseason where you've been healthy. If you're going to be the guy, it needs to be week 1. Like, not October, November, you're figuring out. Week 1, we need to see some flashes. We need to see something impressive. Or my thought is you start giving Marquis Siegel a look. Same with Jair Brown. Like week 1, you guys better be looking absolutely stellar because you're going to be on a short leash. That's what I think.
Yeah, especially Jair Brown. Mister, I played like a Pro Bowl safety last year. Yeah, well, I don't think so, Jair. But I agree with you. The the injury to Mustafa was just brutal. If he's going to make a jump, it's going to be this year. I absolutely hope he does. I still remember Amon-Ra St. Brown on his podcast being like, who the hell was that number 6 for you guys? Because he hit me so hard. Like, yes, like that gets you excited to hear. He's had hopefully the whole offseason to rehab. And it's kind of like the opposite of Mykel Williams. Like Mykel Williams is in that sort of purgatory of can he make a jump after having to rehab all offseason? Now Mustafa is through that wilderness. And let's see if we can come out on the other side. I'm hopeful, but we got to see it. And we'll get the chance to see it hopefully once training camp begins. I don't know. Have they announced a specific date for camp? I know it's at the end of July, but I don't think they've announced like when exactly it's starting up again.
I haven't seen it. If it is, then it's flown over my head.
Are you going?
No. Being out here in Alabama, training camp's tough to get to, and it's one of those. It's a hard trip to justify because that's like the week before my kids go back to school. Because Alabama starts school in August. So yeah.
It's tough. And then I feel like they've been putting everybody like so far away that like you can't even really see even if you're there. So it's like, what am I doing out here? What information am I really getting for people?
Yeah. And other teams have sent people like incognito there wearing a 49ers hat to watch the training camp practices that are open. So even ones that are open, you don't really get that much information from. They're not going to put on display to anybody any of their new installs. It's going to be all, stuff they've done forever.
Yeah, I would agree. All right. We will be here every week breaking it down for you. Thank you, Johnny. Really appreciate that. For more detailed film breakdowns, check out the Johnny Dale Football Academy on YouTube. I promise you, it is a football fan's Valhalla with all the video and film that is up there. We really appreciate it. We will talk to you next week, sir. Have a good one.
You too.